Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another YouTube video, and today we got what if NyonFlights was in Naruto Part 1. So, the link, so if you haven't seen Part 0, I recommend you go watch that. I explain, my character's clans, which is my mother's half, Yuki, half, half Yugi, half Hyuga, and my father is half Uchiha. Is only Uchiha. If you want to know why that is, go watch Part 0. I explained it all in there. And basically, without further ado, one more thing. I will have a like goal on this. I am going to start to do like goals because you guys haven't been liking or anything except commenting really and watching the video. So yeah, the like goal for this video will be 5 likes if you guys want part 2, and if you guys want me to do panels, which is, if you don't know, it's just me showing the characters as I talk about them. If you guys want me to do panels, get this to 15 likes, because panels actually do take a lot of time. Because I have to cut out the character and then put them on the panel. And cutting out takes like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And there's a lot of characters, so, especially Naruto. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so, we start this off with, hold on, in the hospital, we start off in the hospital with, Inochi Hyuga, giving birth to a young baby. This, they will end up naming this baby Kai Uchiha, because the father's name, the baby boy's father's name is Takai Uchiha. They'd end up naming this baby, who has black hair and blue eyes, Kai Uchiha. So, after, around a month after he is born, there's Minato, Namikaze, who, who Kitake Uchiha was really good friends with. Kitake would actually be a strong Uchiha, one of the few who's unlocked the Mangekyo Sharingan. He doesn't like to use it because he doesn't want to go blind, but he only uses it in dire situations. Kushina Uzumaki was giving birth to Minato Namikaze's child. It was all secret, and the only people who were there was a few doctors, Minato, Kushina obviously, and then Kitake Uchiha. Him because he is one of the most powerful ninja in the village and good friends with Minato. After this, while Kushina's giving birth, basically, a masked man comes in and ends up killing all the doctors and grabbing the baby. He holds a kunai to the baby's neck. Give me the Jinchuriki now, or else the baby dies. This is when Minato would look at Kitake and they both nod. And they'd say fine. The masked man would drop the baby and end up teleporting the Kushina away. I don't know why I said the, but right before they teleported, why do I keep saying bro? Like, I'm actually an idiot. But bro, I said it again. Kitake, whose Mangekyo ability would have actually been that he could have from his left eye, he could make blue fire that is cold. Even though it's fire, it's still like negative 700 degrees. So no, negative 7,000 degrees. So like, bro, that'll freeze whatever part that fire is on immediately. And from his right eye, he can make, let's see, pure red fire, which he calls blood flames. This fire basically boils your blood immediately until whatever part the fire's on, your blood bursts out of it. That's why he calls it blood fire. And basically after that, he'd end up getting a little bit of, his blue fire, which he calls ice fire, onto, the masked man. Giving him frostbite. After he gives him frostbite, the masked man, would have, end up going to, an alternate dimension with, Kushina. And then he'd go back and put her on a cross or something like that, and basically take out the Nine Tails. And he would also, right after he takes out the Nine Tails, he'd put it under a genjutsu, causing it to attack the hidden leaf. Meanwhile, Minato ends up catching the baby, and he teleports to his house, puts the baby in a cradle, and then teleports back trying to find Kushina. He finds Kushina, and then, he grabs her. And he ends up seeing the Nine-Tailed Fox, and it's causing a whole bunch of, a lot, and I mean a lot of damage to the leaf and killing people. This is when, this is when Katake and also Inoshi, who just got there, say that they'll distract the Nine Tails. As they, right after they say that, Minato and Kushina run off, and right after they run off, around 5 minutes later, the Nine Tails ends up taking both hands and just claps the hands, squashing them. But right before, as he's in the motion, basically, Kitsake would be able to land two final attacks. He'd end up on his right side, putting some of his blood fire, and on his left side putting some ice fire, giving the Nine Tails frostbite on his left hand, and basically making two of his fingers pop on his right hand. And this would make the Nine Tails even angrier and make him hesitate a little bit. So he'd go put his hands all the way up in fists. He'd go to smash them, but right before he can do that, Katake takes out his eyes, both of them, and just throws them. He chucks them, along with a paper, that says, well, no, not along with the paper, just a little bit of, ice flames. So, right next to it, so, it'll be noticeable, and hopefully someone will see it. So, yeah, right after he ends up doing that, the Nine Tails just smashes them, and they end up dying. This is when Minato would think, I can't seal it. The only way to seal it right now is a baby. He ends up teleporting to his house, grabbing Naruto, and putting him on a pedestal type thing. He ends up doing a couple hand signs. This is when Kurama sees him. He grabs his hand and just puts his claw straight through Minato and Kushina, impaling them. This is when, Minato would finish the sealing the 9 tails inside of, baby Naruto. Hiruzen would come up, and right before Hiruzen runs up, Kushina and Minato wish Naruto. Alright, something just fell. It's not really important though, so yeah. Minato and Kushina would end up saying their final goodbyes to Naruto when Minato dies. Hiruzen would run up and say, "Oh my God, what happened?" And the final words Kushina would be able to mumble out is that he's the new Nine-Tails Jinchuriki and his name is Naruto. And then she dies. Sorry for that. That is my girlfriend. But sorry. After this, Hiruzen picks up baby Naruto and ends up bringing him to be, you know, basically just to his house and hires, puts a new Genin squad in charge of taking care of him, along with 2 Jonin and an Anbu. The reason it's the Jonin and the Anbu is because, just in case anyone found out that that was Minato's child and Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, they didn't want, anyone to try and take it. And basically, the reason for the Genin is because the Anbu and the 2 Jonin were to only stay on guard and basically just guard Naruto. So, they wouldn't be able to actually take care of him and stuff. So that's what the Genin squad is there for, as some of their missions. Meanwhile, they're having a council meeting on what to do with the 2 orphans. Fugaku ends up saying, "I'll take him. I'll adopt Kai." This is when everyone basically agrees, except Hisashi. Hisashi, he disagrees and says that he wants to take Naruto. This is when one of the members of the council says that he reads out basically who the baby would go to, and it ends up being the Uchiha, because the Hyuga pushed them away. And the only reason the Hyuga actually wanted Naruto is because he has the possibility to unlock both the 3 Kage Genkai, the Ice Kage Genkai, the Byakugan, and the Sharingan. So that's pretty overpowered. He's not giving me the Byakugan, but he reads out who Kai's parents who Inoshi and Katake would want him to go, and it ends up a specific Uchiha, but the Uchiha clan. After this happens, Sasaki just gives up in disappointment. But they start discussing who it should go to, and Fugaku again says, "I'll raise him. He was decently close with Itachi, so I'll raise this baby." This is when everyone agrees, thinking that he will be safe with the head of the Uchiha, and also the childhood prodigy. Basically, after this happens, they end up discussing what they're going to do with Naruto. They end up concealing his name and just making his name Naruto Uzumaki instead of Namikaze, so none of the enemies the 4th Hokage has, will come after him. So Hiruzen ends up giving him an apartment when he's 4, so he can live. And um, you know, at the Uchiha, basically, at the Uchiha, Naruto and Sasuke are coming back from, the academy when they see a whole bunch of bodies all around the floor. They just pause in their tracks and end up start running to their house, hoping that their parents are still alive. This is when they don't see anyone. They go to their parents' room to see Itachi standing over their parent Fugaku's, and I forgot Fugaku's wife's name, but and Fugaku's wife's dead body. They ask Itachi, what happened? Itachi puts them in the Tsukiyomi, not the harmful one, but just like the one where they see everything he did. They end up waking up from the Tsukiyomi, each having a one-to-mo Sharingan in both eyes. When Kai says, "Why, Itachi? Why would you do this?" And Sasuke yells, "Itachi, you are our brother." Itachi says, "It was to test the strength. It was to test the limit of my strength." That's all. This is when, Kai especially would just be shocked because Kai's pretty smart. So he'd just be shocked right now, so he wouldn't be questioning it. But Itachi says yes, and you two aren't even worth killing. I'll just leave you alive because I know you both have the potential to make good opponents for me later. This is when he leaves with one singular tear in his eye. So, after this, basically, Naruto and Kai are just living alone. And around a year after this happens, when Kai is 5 and also Sasuke is 5. Oh God, my wrist hurts really bad. Sorry if I just pause at random times. My wrist just randomly started hurting. So, yeah, sorry. Well, basically, around a year later, when Naruto and everyone else is 5 and all in the academy still. Basically, not Naruto would see Hinata getting bullied, and he'd end up going to help her. He ends up getting beat up by the bullies, but right before the bullies get away, Kai ends up seeing them. He ends up just getting extremely mad, and he ends up just making a whole bunch of ice walls around them, and then beating them up, And this is when they just run off all beat up and bruised, and Hinata would still not really Hinata would just be okay with Kai, but she'd still like Naruto because he stepped in to help her first. So she'd still have that original crush. And basically, Kai would be like, "Are you guys alright?" This is when Naruto says, "Yeah, thanks for helping me." And this is when Kai says, "What were you guys doing?" And this is when Naruto says, "That girl right there was getting bullied by them, so I had to help." Well, you probably think I'm weak, don't you? No, at least I tried doing something good. I mean, I'm not going to judge you if you're weak or not, but I only judge you by your actions, because that's what speaks the loudest. I do not care if you're weak. The only thing shameful in being weak is not trying to get stronger. He'd end up helping both Naruto and Hinata up, and Hinata says, "Oh, by the way, what's your name?" He says, "Oh, I'm I'm Kai Uchiha. Nice to meet you. What's yours? Hinata Hyuga. And then Naruto also says, and I'm Naruto Uzumaki. Nice to meet you guys. This is when Hinata would just faint. He'd be confused. Um, but like, Kai and Naruto were just sitting there talking. When, um, when Hinata would wake up, and like 30 seconds after she wakes up, a random Hyuga member would come and look and just say, Hinata, what are you doing with him? We have to go back to the Hyuga. Everyone was worried about you. This is when Hinata waves goodbye to Kai and Naruto, and they both have big old smiles on their face and wave bye back. This is when after they do this, the Hyuga member who came to pick Naruto, I mean not Naruto, Hinata up, would end up looking at both of them with disgust, not just Naruto. The reason he's looking at Kai with disgust is because he's part Hyuga and Uchiha. So basically, alright. Basically, Kai would end up walking home with Naruto, and they'd end up just hanging out at his house. And Kai would end up falling asleep. He'd wake up and hear a knock at the door. So he goes over to the door and sees Sasuke and Sasuke says, I was up all night. Where the heck were you? Oh, sorry, I was spending the night at my friend's house. I was only gonna stay here for a few hours, but I ended up falling asleep. Alright, well, let's go back home. Wait, I have to say goodbye to him first. Fine. This is when Kai would go into Naruto's room, wake him up, and say goodbye that his brother is here to take him, pick him up. And Kai would say, wait, not Kai, Naruto would say, oh, okay. Well, have a good day, I guess. You too. When Kai leaves. This is when Sasuke says, by the way, who was that anyway? Oh, it was Naruto Uzumaki. Wait, the demon kid? You know he has the demon fox inside of him. What? The guy who the thing that killed because Kai was told about his parents after the Uchiha massacre, so like he didn't really count them as parents, but he was like, the guy that killed my parents. And Sasuke's just confused, but then he remembers. He says, yeah. And Kai is just like, well, anyway, that fox isn't him. It's only sealed inside of him, right? He still makes good actions. I'll only judge people based off their actions, not what they are. This is when, because like Kai is taller than Sasuke because he's like 2 months older than him. So, I mean, he's like an inch taller. That's literally it. And he ends up like, flicking. No, he doesn't do anything. He ends up just like bumping fists with Sasuke, but Sasuke's still like just weirded out that he's friends with the, Nine Tails, Jinchuriki. And they end up going home. And the next day, Naruto actually goes to Kai's house, and he just says, "Finally found you. There's so many houses here, because like they still live in the Uchiha side of the village alone." And this is when Kai says, "Oh, hi Naruto. I was wondering if you wanted to train." And he says, yeah, but I'm making breakfast right now. Do you mind? Do you want to come in? Naruto says, yeah. What you making? Oh, I'm making eggs, bacon, and um, you know, hold up. Yeah, he's just making eggs and bacon and pancakes. And Naruto says, what's that? Oh, he says, oh, it's a recipe I learned in a cookbook from it's from another village, so that might be why you might not have heard of it. So he ends up making breakfast and convinces Sasuke to go train with him. So they head to the training grounds. This is where I'm going to be leaving it off. I hope you guys enjoyed. Um, remember, the like goal for the next part is 5 likes. And if you guys want panels, that's 15 likes. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.